Hi, Jan.
Hi.
Hi, Ella. Hi, Emma. Hi, Jenny.
Jenny's just down the road from me.
I said to Katrina, I said we should start looking at how to share the screen, because every single time this is an issue, because they keep changing the bit that you pressed to share the screen. So
Hey, do you know how to share the screen on this? I keep moving the button. Share host, the host, share the host so that it goes over to Jenny.
Oh, okay. So how you swap who's
Yeah.
I think if you open up participants,
Oh, yes.
I
Oh.
think you can do where it says Katrina. I think you can do so. I can't see obviously because you're in charge, Katrina.
Yeah, that's always a bad move.
Yeah. Are you just using me as the warm-up act?
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. So I think you can do something there. I can't remember because I've moved to Google Meets now away from.
Oh, yes, yes. Oh, share.
They literally keep changing it.
Ah.
I'm looking on mine because every time I do this, it's different. And usually it's fine because I'm the one hosting it and sharing. So, but it's just when you're in the situation where someone else is hosting it, that is the tricky bit. Oh, let's see, share screen.
So share screen would just allow you to, but what you're actually trying to do, what I would do normally, Katrina, is set you and Jenny up as the hosts at the start.
That probably would be the better idea, wouldn't it?
Yeah. But I haven't been on the telly for quite a long time, so I'm not the.
Well, we've missed you.
Well, yeah. we won't go into that with a room full of people.
No, we're no better off, are we? But we've got
but we do need to be able to share.
Quite a few people still coming in, so we'll give it a little bit longer.
Do you want me to?
Are you checking it out, Pete?
Yeah.
Share settings.
Do you put on the boxes if you started using DARA yet, or any comments you've got or anything like that? If anyone's had a go already.
Any questions, if there's anything that doesn't get answered in the course of this.
Yeah.
But once I get going, there's no stopping me. I'm only joking. You can interrupt. People can interrupt.
So AI says, open the participants list, hover over the chosen person's name and click make host.
Oh, that would make sense. Find your name. Sorry, I didn't. Whoever said that, apologize for sneezing. I didn't hear anything, so don't worry.
It was me, yeah.
No, I
didn't realise, and I just went, you know what it's like when there's all fields around and it's a warm day. No. So sorry for that.
No, it's fine. Oh, make host, I found it. Here we are. Right. Apologies, everyone. Right.
Okay, I'll shut up now.
No, thank you. That's
No.
much quicker, actually. That's a better way of doing it.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I'm going to get this up on the screen. Right. Okay. So just see when you want me to start, Katrina.
Yeah, do, Jenny. Yes. So welcome, everyone. I'll pass you over to Jenny.
It's fine. I'm
There we go. Can people see that, Darren?
Yes.
I'm going to just use a couple of slides to start with, because I like a slide. Just keeps me on the straight and narrow, because otherwise I'll go all over the place. So I'll just do that from the start. Not a lot of slides. It's not going to be a massive slideshow. But so this is what I'm talking about. A lot of people will have already heard about this. And whoops, it's not what I wanted. There we go. So yeah, we're calling it. It's a one-stop report system. We're trying to have everything that you need to do a SASC compliant report on the screen in front of you where you need it, without having a lot of extraneous information there. So what I'm going to talk about today is, sorry, the key benefits of the program, and this is based on what people have told us and focus groups that we did beforehand and feedback from people. And then I'll do a demonstration. That's going to be the larger part of today, is showing you exactly how the program works with the new report format. And then there'll be a little bit on when and how you can practice with and use DARA. So yeah, so we did lots of focus groups at the start, and we had good feedback. We've generally had really positive feedback. So that's the kind of things that people have been saying about it. I'm going to talk about what DARA does. I'm also going to talk about what it doesn't do, because that's quite a key thing. The main thing, here's your spoiler right now, is it does not write your reports for you, and it doesn't sort of do the scoring. So it doesn't do any of the job of the person doing the assessing. And that's really key, because SASC wouldn't like it very much if it did. So I'll talk about how it can keep the quality high while it saves you time as well. So that's enough of the slideshow. What I'm going to do now is actually get into DARA. So that's something that I want. This is the part of DARA that I use when I'm doing demonstrations. So hang on, I don't think I've shared that yet. There we go. Can you see a thing there that says DARA assessments? Is that working?
Yep.
Yep. So yeah, this is, I'm only saying this because in case people think I'm showing you, so there's other people's names that are actually real people that I've done assessments on. This is a different account. This is my personal account that I've got, and I've got another one that I do all the assessments on. So this is the one I'm going to talk about today. That was my feeble attempt at a joke. It's there at last. So this is Doctor, it's there at last. So this is using the new report format, which, believe me, was a massive, massive task on top of everything else. So what I'll do is I'll just kind of show you your way around how it works, and things will just come out in the course of that, different features, because there are some things that you would do in a different order if you're writing a report, but this is the best way to demonstrate it. So the first thing to notice is, if you look at that column on the left, that is the whole of the report format with all the headings in it. And what we've done is collapsed it so that you don't have all the headings at once, and you can just look down, what are all the headings under diagnostic decision, and what are all the headings under background information, and so on. And you can sort of put these back up when it's a section that you're not looking at. You can look at all the headings and recommendations. And so that's really the way that you kind of navigate your way around the new report format, because it has a lot of headings and subheadings, obviously because this is designed for a multitude of different sorts of assessments. Like the previous one was breaking it into under 16 and over 16, and it didn't really handle a dyscalculia assessment terrifically, sort of, what is the word? It's much more sensitive at that now, so it's a much better format if you're doing a maths assessment. So that's generally how you get your way around. If we start with the cover page, and I'm going to talk more about the cover page later, but what you can see here is you can put the date of the assessment. So we'll just say that the assessment was done today. You can put more than one date in if you're doing the assessment over more than one date, and that's where you key in the person's information, date of birth. I've made this person an adult in their 30s because that allows me to demonstrate things that I want to demonstrate. And we'll just put that for the address so that it thinks we've got an address. And you know, it's got these different headings that would work according to the age of the person. So if the thing about this as well, and this is something that we've added, every time you do something, you have to hit save changes before you go to the next page. But what it does now is if you forget to hit save changes, it will give you a little reminder so that you don't go to the next page having not saved what it is you're doing. So that's your cover page. I'll talk later about how you get your own information on the cover page. But here are the next thing is your report options. So that reminds you of which format it is that has been selected. Actually, if I go back to right at the beginning, if I'm making a new assessment, this is where you select the report format. So it's still got the older formats in because they're still valid. We've got a workplace needs assessment report in there. We're still working on that. That's not completely finished yet. But that is how we got to that point. So I'm going back there. Yeah, report options. So there's various things that you can choose at this stage. One of the things is that the DARA will automatically allocate a password because everything is done in sort of in accordance with GDPR regulations. I like to set my own passwords. So I would do something like 0826 something like that. Oops. So that's the password. And there's a section down here where you can click whether you're doing or have done the assessment remotely or face-to-face or both. I do mine just about all remotely, so that's what I would tick there. And then this bit here allows you to select which of the, there's different sets of category descriptors that SASC offers you, set A or set B, so you can choose which one. And the thing about having it here is that you might choose different ones for different assessments. People can do that if they want to. I tend to stick with that one. And then, there's that appendix where you talk about statistical terms. You give people the definitions, but you're only supposed to talk about statistical terms that you've used. So if I'm setting up an assessment and I haven't met the person yet, there's some of these I could start ticking already. So I know I'm going to have confidence intervals in the scores, and I know I'm going to have standard scores. And we can leave it at that for the moment, and then I can go back to that and update it later. And obviously, I don't know if there's going to be any diagnosis at this point, but if there is a diagnosis, this is where I would select whichever definition I'm working to. And these are all current definitions that you're allowed to use within the SASC guidance. So I'll save that. If we look at the diagnostic decision, oh yes, test scores. I want to talk about that first. So the test scores, this is where you key in your scores, and we've got 63 batteries of tests in here. So you will find all your maths tests. You'll find the tests, the new ones that we need for receptive and expressive vocabulary. So if I add, I'm going to add, even before I've seen the person, because this is an adult who's in their 30s, and I always do the dash, and I just do it qualitatively. So this is how to find a test that you're looking for. They are, scroll down here. I need to move this bar over there. Yeah, they're all there in alphabetical order. You could go page by page, but that's a kind of a long way to do it. What I do here is I can just start clearing in. What you'll see here, this is already selected the tests that I commonly use, so it's even faster once you've started using it for a bit. I just dash, it will come up with dash. Now it shows you in that little red bar if you are using a test that is out with the age range of that person that you're working with, because DARA knows the age ranges of all the tests. They're all keyed into the program, and it knows the age of the person because you put their date of birth in and you put the date. And so when I key to put scores in there, it will, I do that, it will only let you sort of put it down as taken qualitatively. It won't actually let you put a standard score in, which is quite handy for maybe newer assessors who aren't too sure if can you get away with putting a standard score in if they're only 6 months older than the age. So that's the two that I would do. So again, save the changes there. And the other one that I quite often do is I give people the GORT 5, and I just use it qualitatively to get an idea of reading comprehension, silent reading comprehension speed. So that's again telling me that that person's outside the age range, but that's going to be used qualitatively. You see here it allows you to tick Form A or Form B, so that's all logged into DARA as well. If a test has got green forms, blue forms, Form A, Form B, Form 1, Form 2, whatever. So I'll click that and I'll click that. And so I've already got some not quite scores. But the reason that these are in there is that when you've put all your scores in, DARA will automatically populate that the scores table at the back, the appendix, and it will also automatically populate Appendix 4, which has got all the references in it. And so this way, even if you don't have a score for something, if you've used it, and if you've ticked it as using it qualitatively, it will put that battery into the Appendix 4 at the end. So I'm going to add a few more scores for this person just to demonstrate some other things that I'll want to show you later on. So just a few of the test studies. Always odd for some stuff. And you can see that doesn't have the red bar because the person is well within that age range. And I'll just put in a few for this because we don't want to take too long. What we've got, you'll find every single test in a battery, every single test that belongs to that battery, whether or not it's appropriate to use according to SASC, because we want completeness, because that the SASC rules might change, and if we don't have a test in there and then we suddenly have to add it in, that would be problematic. So every test is in there and every composite is in there. And that was the thing that actually, that took quite some time to do that. So if we look at rapid letter naming, that's one of the ones I want to do. So person got 75. What you'll see here is automatically populating the confidence intervals here. So we can do that with some test batteries. We can do it with a TOD because in every single case, the confidence interval is the same, plus or minus 5 or 6 or 4 or whatever it might be. There are other test batteries where it changes according to age, so we can't automatically provide it, but wherever we can, we have. So that would be things like the CTOP, the TOWRI, the ART, DASH, TOD, I think that's GORT, yeah. There's quite a few where that's the case. So if I put another score in for here, 83, oops. And you can see you can also put if it's taken qualitatively, if in case you want to. We put that in for every single test, even if the person's within the age range, because what might happen is you start doing a test, it gets interrupted. You can't really give a score because the test wasn't administered properly, but you still want to talk about that test, what happened, how the person approached it. So there's always that option to put taken qualitatively there. Now what you'll find in every battery is that the composite scores appear at the bottom. This is a big battery of tests, so there's a lot. What I find using this a lot is that although there's a lot to scroll down, you get kind of quicker at finding the bits that you're looking for. So what I'm looking for right now is, she said, this is because I'm doing it slowly. I am looking for rapid automatized naming. So I'm going to put a score in for that. And there it is, it's giving me the confidence interval. So I'll save that. I'm going to do one more result just to demonstrate something else. So I use the Woodcock-Johnson 4 for one test because it's the only place I can find this test for the age group that I need and that can be done remotely. But you can see in there that the all of the Woodcock-Johnson 5 tests are in there as well. So this one I use as a cognitive test, and it's non-word repetition. So I'll put a score in for that. So with the Woodcock-Johnson, they give you the confidence interval. So all that happens here is you just key that in. You have to copy it in as you would have to do from your Woodcock-Johnson report anyway. So that's that. So that gives you a bit of an idea of how the scoring happens. Let's save that. Now, if we go back into these headings, there's diagnostic decision. Another feature of DARA is that you've got all of the SAS guidance notes where you need them. You've got them above. Every section here has the SAS guidance above it, and we've done it so that it can be collapsed down. In the previous version, there was a whole bunch of stuff that you had to read through before you got to this box. So you can have a look at the guidance notes, remind yourself. And we've also put in all of these additional guidance notes, you know, like AG20, whatever it would be. These are cut and pasted from SASC, so it's completely word for word what SASC are saying, including if SASC uses, I don't know, italics or bold, and then the italics or bold is what we have in there. It's exactly what SASC are saying. So you could look at that just to remind yourself of what it is that goes into that section. You can reduce it down if you don't want that getting in your way, and then you just key in your information there. And the thing is that every single text box is one where the assessor keys the information in. DARA doesn't generate any of your text, and it is not linked in with any AI system that generates your text. In fact, I think you could almost say that if you've used DARA, it's quite a good almost piece of proof that you haven't used AI to generate information, which is getting increasingly to be a concern that people have about the thought that that could be going on. And so effectively, although you end up with a report that's got a really nice kind of tidy look, and it would be recognizable and visually, but when you read that report, you can hear that assessor's voice, and you can, that person who's being assessed, they should recognize themselves in that. It's not a case for every report kind of looks and sounds the same, because it absolutely doesn't. It's completely to do with the style of the assessor. If we look at this box, I'm going to show you another feature. So you see that insert preset. This is where we can allow assessors to put their own guidance, if you like. So we've got SAS guidance up there, but you might have your own text that you commonly use. And you can do this for every single section that involves text, every single one. So I've got about 7 pages of them in the old format that we work on. But just to give an idea of how this whole preset things work, if you're looking for something and trying to figure out where you do it, the chances are, if you go up to this settings icon up on the right, you'll find, chances are you'll find it there. So there's a thing, manage presets. I am going to, let's see, I'm going to do a new preset. And the thing is to name the preset something that's going to make it easy for you to find it when you're looking for it. So I've just always called it by the name of that, the heading that I'm working to. So this one, I'm going to put reason for assessment. I'll put NRF.
These are brilliant. But the first time I tried it, I went straight into the report, and I hadn't spent the time doing the presets, and it's really worth spending your time doing all these presets first. It will save you so much time when you start on your reports.
Yeah, I think initially setting up your presets is a thing, but once it's done, it really, really does save a tremendous amount of time. And the way that we've done it is the preset. I'll demonstrate it because I find it hard to sort of explain this concisely. But basically, I'll do a preset here. So this preset is saying, so-and-so was referred by an assessment by somebody. He, she, they had reported that they had difficulties with blah, blah, blah. And that's going to get you started. I mean, you might have a much longer paragraph, but that's the one I'm going to go for. So instead of putting X for the person's name, you put that preferred name, and that is going to use the name that you put on the title of the report, including, I think on this one that I put the person is called, is using the title doctor, because I do most of my assessments with doctors. So I'm going to refer to that person as doctor surname in their report. If they say to me, no, I'd rather you just use my first name, I would take away the doctor title and it will automatically use their first name because that's the preferred name that's been selected on that front page. So if I say preferred name, oops, I don't know why it's and then I'll just do something like that so that when it comes out in the thing, I can just add the relevant information. What you can see here is a new sentence. I want to say that she had reported that she was having difficulties, but instead of writing she, because it's a she that I'm working with just now, I just put that, he, she, they, and I'm using that because that's got the capital at the start, and that's at the start of a sentence. And then if I do it with small letters at the start, that's because it's in the middle of a sentence. Oops. Okay, so if I save that preset, and you can see that when you first do your presets, it could take a little while to set them up, but it's tremendously useful to do them. So if you want to get back, if you're doing something like presets and you want to get back to that person's page, you can either click on the DARA logo, or you can, we've added this because it wasn't really intuitive for some people that you did that. So you can just click on this and it will take you back and get back into her assessment. And then if we go to, where were we? That was under reason for assessment. Right, so if I now do insert preset, we haven't got a lot of presets here, so they're all just on one page. But if you had a lot, you can just put the beginning of it there. If I put NRF, it would come up. The only ones that are NRF will come up there. So if I put that and confirm, sorry, I can't see confirm because of the text. This is just because of what's happening on my screen, because I've got all the little videos are below. There we go. I need to shift all your little faces just below so I can hardly see them now. Put them up, put you up there. There we go. If I hit confirm, so you can see what it's done is it's changed preferred name to that person, and it's changed the he, she, they to she because she's a she. I just put that space, that was my error. So it will do that automatically. So your preset is a generic thing now. Every single time you click for that preset, it's going to automatically adjust it according to whether that person wanted to be referred to, whichever pronouns they wanted to use, and whatever was their preferred name. And I sometimes use presets as well to just give myself a little reminder. And it might be something that's in this Ask Guidance, but I keep forgetting something. So I can set myself a little reminder, put it in there. I can put it in italics, and then I'll know that when I look at it and it's in italics, I know that that's not going to belong to part of the text, and I can just delete it once it's done. So that shows you really how presets work, and that's worth spending a little time on that. And again, save changes. So I'm going to show you some other features that are to do with the results, you know, when we put in these scores. And actually, the other thing that I find, just while I remember it, is that before I see the person, I would have filled in all of this background information. You know, I've got it all from the pre-assessment forms. So I will have filled in that section and that section. They'll all be filled in, and also sometimes with the use of presets. So by the time I see the person, there's a fair bit of that report's already been prepared. And I find that is actually a nice thought, that it's already underway, and I'm picking it off in little chunks, that it's not a huge thing all to write up after the assessment's finished. So I want to go down to, let's see, assessment areas. So this is where you talk about your results. And if I look at cognitive presentation, and that one there. So I've scrolled down to this rapid automatized or symbolic naming, and that's actually going to give you a little reminder of the scores that fell into that category. So that's the ones that I keyed in earlier on: rapid letter naming, rapid numbering letter naming. And what it's doing at the moment, we've got it doing all of the tests that belong to a generic category are all appearing. So you will get more scores in a place than you want, and we're honing it down. That's a gradual process, but you will get the scores that you want. And if you wanted to put that into your thing just as a reminder, you can just click on that and click on that. And then what you could do is talk all about all that stuff there, and then you can delete that afterwards, because that's just a little reminder. Similarly, you can see your composite results in that section there. So we're just trying to do everything that we can that will make life a little bit easier for people, and quicker.
Jenny, I don't suppose you've got anybody in the waiting room at your end, have you?
Oh,
there's quite a few people emailing me to say that they're waiting, but there's nobody coming up on a waiting room.
Oh, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry.
We'll let them in.
Yeah, I'll let them in. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's it. Sorry, I wasn't. Yeah, that's one of. Yeah, I need to. I'll keep that. But I'll keep checking that box. Right. Okay. So one of the reasons I'm finding it's taking a little bit longer to scroll through this is just because of all the visuals I've got on my screen because of being in part of a meeting. So I'll close that down just now. So that was the whole thing with the scoring and reminders of the scoring and all that kind of stuff. What you find at the bottom, all the rest of the sections just follow the same logic. You know, you can use a preset, you can look at the guidance, you can be reminded of scores if it's a section where you are talking about scores. And then if we just scroll down to appendices, whoops, see, this is the reminder. I haven't saved the last thing that I was at, so I need to cancel that and then save whatever it was I was doing before save changes. I'm finding that really useful. This is a feature that's only just been added, and I don't know if you remember that meeting, Katrina, but I asked for that to be added ages ago. And
it's good.
The programmers sort of said, "Oh no, you should manage fine." And you know, I've sort of like kept on forgetting to save things, and then we did some piloting, and I think a couple of people piloting said, "Oh, you know, I forgot to save it. You need to do something there." And then immediately said, "Oh, it was like suddenly that could get done. It couldn't get done when I asked for it." I was quite amused at that because
yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I needed other people to back me up there. So yeah, I was going to go down to appendices. So you can see, there we go, just admit someone else. You can see there, all the appendices are listed there, but you don't have to do anything. It automatically generates that explanation of statistical terms based on the things that you put in that section in the options at the start. It automatically will produce the summary table of test results. Any definition that you've selected will appear there automatically, or more than one definition if there is one. It will automatically put in all your test references, descriptors of the subtests and the composite tests. And these have all been keyed into DARA from the test manuals. So they are from the test manuals. And the only sort of caveat I would say to that is occasionally if a test manual says something in a way that is really jargonistic, I would try to reword it in a way that I can understand. So I think there was one that talked about prosody, and I thought, I don't think I really can explain what that is. So I put in brackets what that means. And the only appendix that you would have to do anything about is this one, further references, because that's the one where you can put in references that you might have, maybe ones that you commonly use. And the way I do that is by creating a preset. And I've got a big list of all the references that I use, and I just delete the ones that aren't relevant for that person. So that's how I do that one. So that's
Jenny,
yeah.
Sorry, someone's asking, Louise is asking, can you edit the text in the appendix? For example, Appendix 4.
No, you can't. No.
Because that comes from the test that you
It
put
comes
in,
from the
isn't it?
manuals, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
it could be that at a later point, if there was a big demand for that, we could possibly have that as an option. But all of these, what we've got at the moment is what will get you through a report in compliant with SASC. And I suppose other things like that are things that if enough people wanted that, obviously it takes a lot of programmers time to do these kind of things, but if there's a demand for different things, we definitely would look at that if that's something that people feel that they would want.
Hi Jenny, just a question on that.
Yeah.
I may be misreading the guidance from SASC on that, but I had a look at I did like a dummy report on DARA and had a look at what it looked like on the PDF.
Yeah.
And for example, I use White 3. How I've read it is that we should be, it says describe briefly each test and subtest used and what it measures. And I didn't feel that the information it generated in that, if the dummy report was what was created, actually covered that.
I guess if there was, sorry, was someone else gonna?
No, it's me, Jenny. I thought it did. I've done one, and it talks about all of the subtests in the Appendix 4.
There was a period where the subtests weren't appearing, and that was a little glitch. And when we got people to pilot the new report format, they pointed that out, and that has been added in. So you might have found, Lou, that when you were you might have been doing it before that got added back in. So basically we only had for a while, it was a little bug that had happened, and we were only getting the description of the composite score but not of the subtest scores.
I did one today, literally, to trial it out before, and I've got it in front of me, and it just says the Wyatt 3 is a battery of tests that could be used to measure literacy and math skills. The age range for tests developed using UK norms is 4 to 2511. However, a technical manual is available that includes scores based on US norms, candidates up to 5011.
Yeah, I've got that. And then it goes straight into expressive vocabulary, oral discourse.
Oh no, see, I've got none of that. None of that's come up on mine at all.
So I think something's gone wrong. I don't know what's, but it does normally come up with all of them.
Did you keep it should only come up with the ones that you've actually done, that you've put scores in for, or that you've said you've used qualitatively?
Yeah, I think I pretty much did that with a few, because I put quite, in fact I put all of my test scores in, and every single battery only says the same. It's just like a descriptor of the test rather than.
So is it more what you're meaning is that the actual description doesn't satisfy what you think SASC are looking for?
Well, it doesn't for me, what I'm looking at doesn't describe any of the subtests I've used at all.
Oh, well,
and what they measure. So maybe something's not pulling through properly for me. I'll try it again.
I'm going to make.
I mean, I've definitely got all of the subtests for every single test on mine. Sally's saying, has the info on the cover sheet error been mentioned for the order of the information, as this is not in the same order as on the SASC info? I've got my cover sheet here, and it's got the right order in it.
I was actually going to talk about the cover sheet stuff, about the assessor information. There might be that's
again, that's been updated. Sally, have you looked at it recently?
Yeah, sorry, I went on today and used the new report format, and it is and I did the draft print off, and it's got candidate name, then dates of assessment, then date of birth, and it's those last two that are in the wrong order.
Right.
No, that hasn't been changed, has it?
No.
Yeah.
Well, we can.
But that's not a difficult thing to change.
Yeah. No, sorry about that. We've done a lot of piloting on so many different details that but we might have missed that. We'll definitely look at that and get that. We can get onto the programmers tonight and get them to look at that. So the other thing, and we will look at the sub. I mean, I've been using DARA since about November last year on the old report format, because I haven't moved to the new report format yet, and it is doing all of these things in the old report format, so all the capability is in there. It's just that there might be some little links that are missing, so we will definitely look into that, but I'm making notes there.
Anne, can you clarify which appendices you'd like to see as well? So, got quite a few.
One of the comments?
Any of them, please, just as an example.
You want
helpful.
You want Jenny to click on them?
Just an example.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
So what I was going to do actually next was going to, if we hit generate report. Now, what you're going to find is the very first time you do an assessment, it's going to say this. It's going to say that you need to create a format for this template now. It will only do it the first time that you're doing it. So I wanted to leave that to be done. If I click this now, so I'm going to call this NRF full report. So I could, I'll show you later how you can have different formats, but that's your standard full report, and I'm going to save that. And because I'm working from the NRF, the SASC version, it's giving me all the headings that are to do with that. So when you are creating a report format for yourself, you can tick whether you want a category to come in or not. Well, if it's the full report format, you should have everything ticked. So everything there is ticked just by default. I don't use that optional signature, so in mine that isn't ticked. And what it does is DARA knows that if there's a section that isn't compulsory and you haven't written anything, it will not put that heading into the report. So it just knows that that's an optional heading. You haven't used that heading. So although you're ticking absolutely everything there, it won't put them in the report unless you put text. Now, the other thing that I was talking about in the cover page is that we've just recently added this capacity to change, to adapt this to the person who's writing the assessments. So for instance, I'm a psychologist, so I would kind of change that to psychologist. You know, there are some people that have got other qualifications, you know, in speech and language development or whatever it might be. So you're keeping to the SASC wording, but just adapting it. You know, when they say delete is appropriate, well, you can just delete it and not have, you don't have to muck about with anything like that. So that's where you do that. And you do that in the report format because you might have a different report format set up for different purposes, and you might want to have slightly different information in different report formats. So it's set up so that you can do that. So I'm going to just save that. And then the other thing, I wanted to show how we can deal with the main differences between the old report format and the new one. I think before that, I'm going to also show you, if we go back to formats, one of the really, really helpful things in DARA is that you can get it to generate a summary report format for you. So for example, and where I would do this is up in settings. If I go into report formats, see, I've got all these summaries. I've got an executive summary, which would be for a workplace, where I take everything confidential out. I'll just show you that in the old the old format just because it's already set up. The principles are the same. So in that one, I don't show the person's date of birth, don't show their age, don't show their address. I take out all the bits that that the employer doesn't need to see, and then I create a summary that's based just on these sections that I've chosen. So if I go back to, actually, if I wanted to do, I'll do a.
David, can you put them? Oh.
I'm going to put NRF summary report just to let you. And I don't want to go through the whole thing, but just we can take a bunch of sections out. We can take background information out, we can take that out, take that out. I'm just doing this randomly just to show you, and I'm going to save that. Now, if we go back to this person's reports here, and if we do generate report, it now will give me the chance to do a summary report. Now, if I've done the full report and I'm quite happy with everything that's in that, and this is the full report, actually, I should show you that first. So if we scroll down, that shows you a scrollable version of that report, and you can scroll down and see if you like the look of it, if there's anything that's not right. You see, that would be something I'd go back and think, oh shit, I didn't actually completely fill that in. So then I'd go back into the main report and change that. It's got all the headings that ought to be in there. And scroll down, it's just give you a rough idea. There's your appendix 1. The person wanted to see the appendices. There's appendix 2. It's obviously only got the scores that I put in. It doesn't have a definition because I didn't select one. And that is your descriptors. The -2, copy best, copy fast. Including the ones, yeah, the dash and the gort are the ones that were qualitatives. It's got them in it. It's got the Todd ones that I had keyed in. So that shows you that. And if you wanted to do, if you're happy with it, what you can do is you can download that and get a printed version. You're not going to get charged at any point during this time. You can download it so you can see what it looks like in hard copy. And once you're happy with it, it's only
Leicester and Matthew Pomeroy and asked them about home videos shown to the audience of the
can anybody else hear some?
Is that true?
Background.
I think we all do find it.
Yes, I can hear it. Somebody's got TV or something on.
Yeah.
Friends at school are learning magic tricks, so a lot of us find magic at an early age, but then go away from it and stick to it. But there's also some people that I think have found later in life. What I think is cool about
if you're not on mute, can you put yourself on mute?
Kids, and we all kind of share this collective dream.
I'll scoot down and see who's not on mute, maybe.
I'm interested.
Oh, that's it gone now, isn't it? Yeah, good. Yeah. Right, there we go. So where was I? Shift that out of the way. Yeah, it's only at this stage when you hit publish report that at that stage you would be paying for something. So you can do a lot of looking at it if you're happy with it. I'm still getting background. Can you guys still hear some background sound? I've got something that sounds like somebody's crawling about in a pipe.
Yeah.
Is it possibly someone called Mary? The screen keeps flashing on my screen. It might be Mary.
That's it. Right. That stopped again. Nope, no, it started again. Right, let's have I'm going to scroll down and see if I can see if there's anyone who is not everybody that I see, should I just mute all? Can I?
Yeah, yeah.
Have I muted myself?
No.
Oh, good. Right, so that's mute. Everybody's been muted, and I will unmute if we need to do that. Now, how do I get back to my thing? Close that. Yeah, oh, right. So yeah, so you can do a lot of tinkering about with it before you are at the stage where you'd be paying for anything at all. And that's, but the thing about, yeah, what I was going to say was about these the summary reports. If you've got that far and you're publishing a report, it will then say, do you want to do a different form of report, a different format? And you can select one of your summaries. You could have more than one summary. You could have a summary for parents. You could have a summary for teachers. You could have a summary for a person's workplace. I've got a couple of summaries that I regularly use, and all you do is just hit that summary and it will automatically produce the report that you have said, that summary that you want, and there's no additional charge for that. And it's very useful if you're doing assessments where you do need a summary. But one of the things that is an additional sort of bonus here is that there's been a lot of talk about people submitting the entire report into AI so that they can get a summary. That sometimes parents are saying, do you mind if we put the whole of your report into ChatGPT because we need a summary? So this would sort of hopefully prevent that happening, because we really don't want to encourage people to put whole reports onto ChatGPT, because they're probably not fully aware that to an extent becomes public information, publicly available. So having that capacity to do summaries, I think, is really useful. So the other thing that I wanted to talk about was really how we deal with the main differences that are in the new report format compared with the old report format. So I think the biggest difference is this thing that, you can reorder the sections. You can reorder language and reasoning skills, attainment, and cognitive presentations. So where you do that is in the report format. So I'm going to go up to settings and show you that. And the reason we put it here is because you might have a report format for a dyscalculia assessment, and you might want them in a specific order there, and you might want them in a different order when it's a different sort of an assessment, or if it's a joint assessment, depending on the kind of way that your argument flows. So if I go into that, and if I go down to assessment areas, you can see there, you can change the order of these three. So that's the three sections that SASC says they don't need to come in that order. You can change the order according to what suits the way that you're writing the thing. So that's how we deal with that. The other thing is that phonological awareness can be reported in, I think, 3 different places. Might be 4. Yeah, it's 3 different places. If I go back into the actual report and we look at these headings here, basically what we did is we've just got it in it's available in every section. That is where you're allowed to write it up. So if I do assessment areas, language and reading skills, there you've got phonological awareness there. And we have put a little bit in the guidance notes. I just added a bit there. It's in here somewhere. I might have put it at the top. No, I don't know. I'll need to double check that. It's definitely in one of the other ones. Making up that. So basically, I shut that down. We've got it. It's available in 3 different sections. The heading will only appear in a section where you are writing out. The reason it's not come up there is because it would come up here. That's it. So if I look at the guidance notes there, see we've got, if you look at that guidance note that I've added in, this is one of the 3 sections where phonological awareness scores can be reported. If you don't choose to discuss phonological awareness in this section, this heading will not appear in your report. So it will only appear where it is you've wanted to put it. So that's how we dealt with that. And the only other sort of main difference that we could see was to do with optional headings. And if I show you this one in recommendations, we have got educational and workplace support. And you can choose the heading. You can have educational support, or you can have workplace support, or you can have educational and workplace support. So you might have somebody who's 16 and has a job, or 25 and doesn't have a job. So you only need to talk about the things that you need to talk about. So that is kind of a bit of a whistle-stop tour of DARA. I'm going to go back to this. That's the key benefits, and this is based on a lot of feedback that we've had from different people. So they've said it's user friendly. I think it does, because it's such a massive project. It does take a little while to kind of get your way around it. I'm going to show you the Disguise Diagnostics website. We've got a lot of videos, like little short videos. We tried to make them about sort of 3 or 4 or 5 minutes on different topics. Like there's a video on how to create a preset and things like that. And it's well worth looking at that if there's anything that you're a bit puzzled about. It does save time. I mean, I know that from working on this. I've been using this for so long. And I think if you're saving time doing an assessment, it means that you're going to get it done quicker, so you can get your report out quicker. And I know myself that I can do more assessments if I'm using DARA than I could if I wasn't. It's got that capacity to reduce mistakes because of the way it's been set up. The thing that I really like about it for myself is that I don't have to be thinking about an awful lot of the nitty-gritty of the admin, and I can really frees me up to do the analytic thinking, which is a bit that I really enjoy. And I don't need to worry so much about if I've remembered to put this reference in, if I've been using a different test from the usual thing. I don't have to worry about somebody else's name creeping in there if you've been using a template. So it frees your mind up a bit, I think. I think a lot of assessors are neurodivergent, and so it's useful to break things down into manageable chunks. I think having all the SASC recommendations, exactly where you need them and when you need them. So, you know, you do see lots of discussions on forums with people wanting to double check something because they maybe haven't got the SASC guidance to hand where they're working, but you've got it right there when you need it. If you're working at 10 o'clock at night, you don't need to wait till someone's going to come back to you on a forum. So, and it's live and it's connected. So every time you open DARA, it's going to have the latest version of the SASC guidance. So if SASC say we've got to change the wording of something, we will change the wording of it, and then next time you open it up, that wording will be there. So there's not quite the same worry about keeping up with every single detail that SASC is saying, because that's what we would be doing within DARA. And I think that scope for incorporating your own notes is very, very useful. And then you also get a quite professional, well-organized report at the end. So what I want to do now is very, very quickly show you the
Jenny, I've just been giving questions, writing answers to questions as and when I can. But I think it's Jan asked one back here about the order of Todd and the current order of the Todd subtests at present, and what was your thinking behind that particular order for Todd?
Sorry, I'll just give a thought and I'll answer that. Yeah, the order of the tests in the list of tests is always in alphabetical order. So we had to have